So how good is the Tactacam Reveal SK? In this video, we're going to figure that out. It's a cellular trail camera with a built-in solar panel. It comes with a rechargeable LiPo box, as well as it has the option to have Verizon or AT&T in the same camera. Not at the same time, but in the same camera. Within this video, I'm going to be doing an unboxing of the camera. I'm going to set up my account and go through the app. And as well, I'm going to set the camera up and we're going to do some field tests over the next couple weeks, but obviously they're all going to be combined in this video. Now, personally, I've never owned a Tactacam trail camera. Ryan, one of the guys in our group, he has two, I believe, and we've been, able to log into his camera and see how well they work. They have been working phenomenal. He has two of them with two solar panels from Tactacam, and they seem to be working all the time. I don't think he's ever put batteries in them as far as I know. And he's had nothing but good luck with them. Included in the box is a detachable solar panel, the Reveal SK, adjustable tree mount, two antennas, a rechargeable LiPo pack, and a strap. So they kind of give you a little bit of everything. Some of the features in this camera has an LTE multi-carrier 4G option. It takes 24, 16, 12, or 8 megapixel photos. Has the ability to download HD images within the app, but it might cost you. As well, you can download HD videos. This camera has no glow infrared technology, which eliminates the flash. As well, it has less than a half-second trigger speed. The camera is programmed to detect animals up to 80 feet from the camera. As well, it has integrated GPS for camera location. So if you're trying to tell somebody where your camera is, you can just show them in the app. Or if for some reason this camera gets stolen, maybe you'll be able to find it. So let's get the Tactacam Reveal SK out of the box, see how this thing works. So as you see in the box, it has two antennas, a camera, tree mount. Looks like a power cable. I assume that's probably to charge the batteries in the solar panel. Two straps, a USB, and then we have the two different SIM cards. So here's the camera with the solar panel on top. The cord connects down to the bottom, and then you can charge the batteries that are inside. And then if for some reason you don't want to use those and you want to use an external solar panel box with AA backups, you can take this out, buy the optional 12, I think, AA tray, and then it can be put into the camera. It comes with this USB cord, so before you get it set up out in the field, you're going to want to plug this in, whether you have a phone adapter that has a USB plug, or I have outlets with USB on them. But regardless, you're going to want to plug the battery pack that comes with it in, let it fully charge, and then go ahead and go set it up out in the field. Now on the camera, we got the lens, the sensor, and then the infrared lights. On the inside, we have the status light, the SD light, the Wi-Fi light, the battery light, and then the signal light. I'm going to turn this off. As well, you got the test button. If you want to take a picture, give it a test, walk out in front of it, hit the test button. The eject button here, take your batteries in and out. And then here is a USB input. Now that is for this, and then you're able to pre-charge these before you put them out into the field. So this connects to the tree. So, and then it's got this little tiny lip right here, goes onto this, and then if you want to take this back off, you can do it like that. So when putting an SD card, you want the little, the little bevel there. You want it to be facing towards the top of the camera and the Verizon check mark down with this metal sensor facing down. When you do sign up, they're gonna send you a verification code to your email. And then from there, you can put the email verification code into the app, and I assume you get started. From there, you put in all your information. Whether you want to put in real information or not, that's up to you. Create account. Scan the QR code, and that would be here. So let's add a camera, and then, so to add a camera, you just hit the camera button, and then you hit the plus. Select the plan. All cameras will be assigned to your chosen plan. So if you have multiple cameras, they're all going to be on the same plan. You can't just have one camera on one type of plan and another camera on a different type of plan. Your plan automatically renews every 30 days or 365 days, whether you pick a monthly plan or a yearly plan. Now you got to go somewhere else and you log in. So for $13 a month, so as you can see here, the plans are $13 a month. It's called the Pro plan, or $100 a year. So it's basically $10 a month if you wanted to pay for an entire year. You have unlimited photos, one camera, $12 for every additional camera, and then $96 for every additional camera if you pay for the monthly. So it's actually quite a big difference, you know, in reduction of cost, I guess. And then it's $5 per 50 HD photos. Then you got the intermediate plan, which is $85 a year. You get 500 photos, and that's $8 a month. $55 per year is 250 photos a month, or it's $5 per month. And if you don't want to plan, the camera will still work. So you can still use this camera and not have to worry about paying a plan. Obviously, if that's the case, though, you might as well just buy a different camera. But if you only want to use it for 3 months a year, but still use the camera, you know, in the off season and not have to worry about paying, you know, a monthly bill, this camera will still work, unlike some other camera companies that don't allow your cameras to work unless you're paying a bill. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the Pro plan, but I'm only doing monthly. Now you can name your camera. We like to name our cameras, you know, where we have it set up. So if it's by a certain blind or certain stand, you know, that's what we usually name it. But for now, I don't know where I'm going to put this. I'm going to put it somewhere in the UP, but for now I'm going to just be setting it up at a couple different spots at my farm for testing purposes. Currently activating the camera. Turn it to setup. Switch your reveal to setup mode and wait for the signal indicator to light stabilize. This could take up to a minute. Do you see at least one solid green? No. Switch the reveal to off. Let's turn it off. Confirm that the antennas attached, which they are. And there we go. Oh, I don't know. Searching for signal. I assume you guys can see that. And it's red. And then we're gonna do photo plus video. 24 megapixel, do HD photo. I don't know how long that we can make these videos. It doesn't look like I can do any less than 10. Let's see how long I can make it. I can go up to 15. So 10 to 15 second videos. Images per multi-shot, you have 1 to 3 images. Multi-shot intervals is basically, it'll give you a delay between the little pictures. So you can have a 0 second, 1 second, or 2 second. I'm just gonna keep it at 1 second and I'm not gonna do multiple shots. Max range, at night you got max range, minimum blur, or balance. You guys can do any kind of settings that you want. You know, what I put in here isn't what you have to do, but that way when we get to the end of the video, you know where my settings were as far as, like, you know, if the batteries get worn down or anything like that, you'll know exactly what I was doing. Power flash, I'm gonna have it high. Delay, enable delay, and 5 seconds is good for me for now. Now, what a work timer does is it turns your camera on or off at a certain time of day. So for instance, if you were using this for security purposes and you work from 9 to 5, you know, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., then from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m., the camera would be on and going off all day long, sending you images, using up your data and so on, just on a bunch of employees working around a job site or something like that. So this is important if you are using this for a job site. As far as scouting goes for hunting, that's up to you. I'm gonna keep it going 24 hours a day. So SD loop. The SD loop means that when the card fills up, if you decide that you don't care about seeing the images on the card rather than going out and pulling the card, and it keeps filling up the data on the card, it will just record over the oldest pictures, and then you don't have to worry about, you know, your card's not working or your camera not working because your card is full. Settings check. So I assume that means when you change the settings, it will automatically change them in the camera. So for the next transmission, or maybe when you hit save, it will instantly save the new settings to your camera. I'm not real sure how that works yet. I will let you know sometime in this video. Motion sensitivity, you have levels 1 through 9, and then send time. So when settings check is set to instant. Send time cannot be changed. This is because the cell module of the camera will always be running. So I gotta cut in, I'm about to go hunt, maybe. It's really windy. One thing I've been talking about in this video, at the moment that I made this, I didn't really know. Even though I read it earlier in the video right here, I said that the camera, if it's set to instant, it is always using cellular data. So even if you're not getting pictures sent to you, even if you're not having videos getting downloaded, the camera is always on cellular data. So like imagine you having your phone and you just left it on, even if you didn't use it, you know, even if you just set it down and you left it on, it would eventually die because it's always getting data and it's always using battery. That's the same for this camera. If you have it set to instant, it's always going to be reaching out for data, roaming for data, and your camera is going to die. If I had actually been paying attention to what I was reading earlier in the video, then I would have known that I shouldn't have left that camera running on instant until I knew that the solar panel was hooked up properly, because the camera's dead now. So I got about a week and a half before we go back to camp, and I need to get that camera some juice. So you have two options. You have instant or daily, and if you have it set to daily, then you can go into send type timely. I don't know what timely means. I assume that I don't know what that means. You can have it set once every 24 hours or twice every 24 hours. I'm just going to go back to instant, and we're going to leave it at that, and then have a check-in picture. Now what this will do is it will take a picture every single day, I assume at the same time, and I'm going to do that, and then that way you know that the camera's working. So if you don't get your check-in picture on a daily basis, then something is going on and something is wrong with your camera. Now, there we go. So now I do have signal to my phone, and it shows that the camera's on. The battery life is 40%. The signal is very strong. There is 0% card used, and it looks like the last images was 4 minutes ago. So let's go into images. Okay. So right here, you can click on this, and it's basically me talking about the camera. I'm talking about the camera. So yeah, so it is working. I'm gonna take this out to our farm where I hunt, and I'm going to set this up. And we have 4 bars of signal. Dang it. So we got 4 bars of signal. The Wi-Fi is adaptable. And I'll do Wi-Fi when I move to the other farm, so I can figure out, you know, exactly how that works. And let's turn her on. Then you got the blinking light. And it is off, so I assume it's going. So I set up the Tactacam Reveal SK on my grandparents' property for like 2 or 3 days. And then I ended up taking it to my dad's property, and then I took it to the UP. So we're gonna head to the UP, I'm gonna set up the camera, and you guys are gonna see the Wi-Fi, how the Wi-Fi works on this camera. So to connect to the Wi-Fi, you just go into the account panel, hit Wi-Fi. It's gonna tell you to connect the Wi-Fi in the settings, preferences, whatever your phone has. I don't know, every phone's different. And then you can just go through the steps. And then from there, you can see what you're looking at. So I'm tilting the camera here. All right, so now I can walk out here. Probably my butt crack is in the all right, so that looks right down the lane that I'm about to cut. We don't want all this junk in our way. But every year I come out here, there's always a bunch of scrapes on this path, yet the bucks don't seem to show up when we're hunting. So I want to see, you know, what that's all about, see what's going on. Are they coming in, scraping and leaving, whatever. So I have this set up here. I want it to face north, and the solar panel needs to be facing south. So I have the solar panel on the south side of the tree. They give you this extension cable, and then I can hook it up to the camera right here. So this is number 2. This one is actually running AT&T, and we're up in the UP, and it still has 3 bars. I'm packing up, getting ready to go back home. This camera I had set up, so I had it set up over here on this tree. And there wasn't any sun, so my camera ended up dying. So I came and got it yesterday, charged it at the hotel room, and now I got it plugged in. I'm hoping that it holds charge. Anyway, I walked over here, checking the camera. I'll turn it on. Hopefully I get something in the next few minutes. Otherwise I have to take this camera home. The food plot came in really good. When I came up in June, it really took over. The clover really took over. We got tons of radishes, beets. I don't know about beets, but we have tons of radishes. That one's not very big, but I got a bunch of big ones in here. Turnips, all types of stuff in here. I think I just stepped on one, yep. So here's a big turnip. So that's great UP food. I mean, it's great anywhere food. So you got the food plot there. It's the best view I have. I do need to format SD. Good. Okay, so that should make it work. So that should make it work. My screen, I'm standing out here in the rain. This camera wasn't sending me a signal. I'm about to leave camp. We're going to go into the couple of the features since I now have pictures on the camera. And if you see here, you can click on the camera here. So you got the pictures and then the camera. And if you click on the camera, it gives you a list of cameras. And then you can see, I have 20% battery left on the one camera and 90% on the other. The one that has 90% is actually taken more pictures since I set it up. The one on top obviously is taking more pictures, but not since I move the cameras around. So since I moved the cameras, the plot camera is actually taking a lot more pictures. And it's still holding charge really well. I really think that this one came unplugged, having that long extension on there. I probably should have took a bungee or something and wrapped it tight around a tree because it was probably blowing around the wind, came unplugged, and there you go. As you go down the photos here, the top 2 photos are test photos. So you can set the camera up so it'll take 2 test photos a day. This one's a daytime photo, and then my daytime photo for the food plot is I think it's around 4 or 5 o'clock, so I haven't got that one yet. But here's a picture that came in yesterday. If you go into the app, or if you go to the main screen here where they're coming in, you hold it down, and then it's gonna highlight that video or picture or whatever, and then you have the options. So you can save it, you can share it, you can trash it, you can delete it. And then you can go here to the bottom right corner and you can click HD. So if you want an HD picture, or you can download video. Now, if you download the video, it's a $5 charge for up to 50 pictures, but it lasts until you take the 50 pictures. So as long as you're making your payment, those 50 pictures don't need to be used up in a month. I've had this camera set up there for 2.5 months, and I've downloaded 44 videos. From here, you would select yes, and then the next screen that pops up, I believe, says that it will be sent to you the next time it transmits with the camera. I found with this camera, it pretty much sends it immediately. On the bottom of the screen here, you have the picture frame and the video frame. If you click that, and then you can go into HD photos, the video, and then there's the video here. And then there you can see the video. And if you turn the camera sideways, or the phone sideways, and then if you want to, you can go and you can save. You can create your own folders, save those pictures to the folders. And that there's a HD photo. As you can see here, the HD photo that they send you is a little bit smaller than the HD photo that is saved to your SD card. So if you have multiple cameras and you just want to check out one camera, you just click on that circle in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. You just click on that, and then it takes you to the filters, and then you can select what camera you actually want to look at pictures, hit apply, and it's only going to send you pictures from that trail camera. And then you go back, clear, and then now I'm getting pictures from both trail cameras once again. So if you're running multiple cameras, that's a great feature to have, to be able to select one area and so on. So as we go through the photos here, we can click a picture, we can star it, and then we can add a new folder. So we had folder, Bucks, create, and then we go into the folders down here once again, click on Bucks, and then there you go, that same picture is in that screen. So one thing I did notice is you can't add the videos to the individual folders that you made, but you do have them all saved in your videos folder, and then you're able to view them there. So you hit the home screen, and then you click on the camera on the top and go to basically your location. So if you had, say you had 10 of these cameras on 3 different farms, then they would be saved into different locations. Both of these cameras here are at our UP camp. Unfortunately, they're really far away, but they've been working really well, so I really can't complain. I want to go here and I want to change the settings. So you hit the little tool icon. And then if you need information as far as what each thing does, you can click the little I button on the top. And then when it's white, you click on it and it will give you information of what you're actually changing when you go through these settings. So I don't need that at the moment. But what I want to do is I want to show you the levels on the motion sensitivity. So both these cameras are different. Obviously they're different, but both these cameras have their own personality, I guess I should say. The level on this camera is 5, and the level on the other camera I have set to like 3 or 4. And both cameras are very sensitive in the different levels. So I had both these cameras set up at camp for I think 3 weeks before I went bear hunting, or I was supposed to go bear hunting, didn't go, long story. This camera here is overly sensitive. So if you have it set to 5, anything that moves, it picks up. So if you have a whole bunch of wind and all the, at the time there was a bunch of ferns all over the place and they were blowing like crazy, it was taking tons of pictures. But then when you set it to 4, nothing. It doesn't pick up any of the ferns or anything like that. But I also had a Keen PT, Ranger PT or something like that. It's basically a security camera that they are marketing for hunting, set up right beside this camera. And that camera was going off, showing me that there were bears, but there was nothing coming in to this camera. So I changed the settings to 5. Once I changed the settings to 5, I was getting all the pictures and videos of the bears as well. So the sensitivity levels are really sensitive in between settings. The other camera, it's the opposite. You don't really have to touch it very much at all. I have it set to, I think, level 4, and it just works all the time. It doesn't take pictures of ferns, and it takes pictures of everything that walks by. It just acts very different. Obviously, I didn't have that camera set up in front of ferns. Maybe it would have done the same thing if it was set up in front of ferns, but even at level 4, I'm getting pictures of every single animal that walks through, and I'm not having any issues where it's just picking up weeds or any kind of wind motion at all. One thing I do want to make a note of, I don't remember where I saw this. I don't remember if it was an app in the camera or if it was actually in the manual, but it does say if you want to request videos via the app, you need to have a faster SD card. And this is true because in one of the cameras I had a cheap Ion Walmart brand. I think it's Ion, whatever it is. Regardless, I had that in one camera and I had a SanDisk in the other. And when I would request videos with the camera that had the Ion, it would not send me the videos. Skip ahead 3 weeks, I changed both cameras so they both have SanDisk. Now both cameras send me videos via the app. So it really does have to do with the card. You definitely want to have a faster, better card in these cameras if you're expecting to be able to download videos or HD photos. As far as the sensitivity on these cameras, other than working within the app, I really haven't been able to do any tests on the sensitivity, but I know there are multiple pictures that I have deer out 30, 40, 50 yards even, and the camera's picking them up just fine. Now that we know the sensor's good and it's picking up movement, the picture quality on this camera I would say is pretty good as well. The picture quality is really a two-part series because it's one is the picture that it's sending you in the app, two is the picture that it's saving to the SD card, which I think that both of them are really good. They're good enough to where you can see what the animal is, how many points a buck has, and it gives you enough details in the app that you don't really need to use the download feature. The one thing I want to add with the HD picture or video download is it's $5 for 50 video downloads as well as $5 for 50 picture downloads. It's not $5 for either or. So you're really getting a better deal if you're running this camera, and you're downloading videos. But not everybody runs videos. If you want to save battery and not use up all your battery, then it's better to go with pictures. No matter how many cameras you have, whether you have 10 or you have one, it's $5 for 50 downloads. And you can download from any of the cameras that you have if you have multiple cameras, and it's only going to charge you for $5 for those 50 downloads. It's not $5 per camera that you own. As far as the video quality goes, I think that the video quality is really good, especially when you're looking at it through a phone. Personally, I like to have higher resolution images sent to you, but that's just because I like using them for videos. It has really nothing to do with scouting. For scouting purposes, you really don't need much more than 720. Especially with this camera and even like something like the Tactacam Fusion X, the video quality when you're looking at it on your phone is really, really good. Within the app, there is no AI features, so you're not able to filter out the images and just look for bucks or bear or pigs or whatever you're scouting. It's basically all manually done within your phone. You just go through your pictures, you select the ones, you move them to the folder you want to put them into, and that's it. Things I don't like about the camera, and this first one I really wouldn't say I don't like about the camera, but it would be nice if it did have a screen where you could, for 180 bucks or whatever it was, it'd be nice to have a screen that you could just change all the settings on the screen and then go on your way. Second thing is I wish it did have an indicator showing that the solar panel was connected and that it was, giving the camera a charge or signal or something showing that it has a solid connection and it's going to be able to charge that camera while I'm away. And then the third thing is the solar panel doesn't mount backwards. So it would be nice if they could make it so that it mounted backwards. So like if you wanted it facing north and you were just putting it on a post or something like that, you could just do something very simple, turn the solar panel around, mount it backwards. And then the cord that comes with it, I wish it was just a tad bit longer. If it was like 3 inches longer, you'd have a little bit of slack. Obviously you don't want a whole lot of slack because you don't want squirrels or chipmunks or birds or whatever pulling it out. But then that's the other thing, and I've said it on multiple videos before, I wish all these camera companies would make a solar panel attachment so when you plug the cord in, it has like a twist lock or a screw lock or something like that where it's really connecting to the camera and you don't have to worry about it getting unplugged by, let's just say, an animal. And after all that, what I will say is if you can get one of these cameras, do it. I think it's worth it. The solar panel works great when it's attached good, and the camera just works really well. It's always taking pictures, it's taking a bunch of videos, it's doing what it's supposed to do at all times, and it hasn't shut off. I mean, right now it was like 10 degrees the other night in the UP, and then we got a blizzard, and they're still sending me pictures, you know, in the blizzard. I'm heading back to camp in I think 4 weeks, so if there's anything I didn't cover and you know have some questions, leave a comment down below. When I get to camp, I'll do some tests or whatever, and you know, I can answer any of your questions. Like I said, I really think this is a good camera, and I can highly recommend it if you guys can get it. Thanks for watching.